Hey there, let's paint a whimsical rainbow mountain scene together. I have a piece of paper here that is about 5 by 7 inches. I cut it out of a larger piece of paper. I'm going to tape it down to help with the buckling. It was in a watercolor block, but it was too big of a piece. I just take regular plain old masking tape, stick it to my jeans or whatever, or usually I'm wearing pajamas. Today I actually have jeans on, which is a real shock. And that's just to get the stickiness out of it so it's not too sticky. And then I'm gonna tape down all 4 sides and then we'll get started. I should probably spritz my watercolors because they might not be that wet. They're over here to the side. And the other thing that I will be using today, besides watercolors and my round brushes, is something round to draw out the rainbow shape. I have tried many times to paint a rainbow that like freehand, but I always am unhappy with how it turns out, and I much prefer to have a little guide along the way. So I'm either gonna do an off to the side rainbow or possibly a right in the middle rainbow. And I'm trying to decide what might be the best size for my curve. Do I have a bigger circle? Yes, I do. That looks humongous. It's a thing of gesso. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna put this in the center and just draw a little. Actually, you know what? I'm going to flip it this way. I'm going to draw, so wherever I want the top of the rainbow, I'm just going to lightly draw my rainbow like so. And then I'll go from there. I just like to have a guide. And then my plan is to we'll probably do the mountains first and go from there. That is my plan. Okay, I have my size 6 round Princeton Heritage brush and my size 12. I think I'll start with my size 12. And, you know, I have a zillion colors in my palette. Ooh, I just keep buying more colors. I think I'm gonna do some light to dark mountains down to a green hills kind of situation. And I'm not going to worry too much about the pencil marks at the moment. I'm going to put it like that. What am I trying to say? Oh, we're going to be doing my favorite sort of whimsical with white lines painting, so then we don't have to wait for anything to dry. So I'm mixing up some lavender into a spot where there was a little bit of green, so it has sort of a sagey tone, but really I was just going for lavender, so the saginess is a bonus. I do love mixing purple with green because I like the smoky sage color it gives it. And I think I'm just gonna go like this and draw some mountains that go like that. Now, since I'm going to be doing the white lines and since I'm going to be going down, I actually have to outline and figure out where I want the other mountains to be so I don't paint into that. So that's what I just did there, outlining the shape so that I can leave white and then make the next row of mountains. So there we go with that. And I'm going to add some just dioxazine purple to the mixture I already had going to get it a bit darker. Gosh, I'm running out of this purple. I wonder if I have more. All right, so I've darkened that color up, and here I'm just using the tip. I really need to get a new size 6 brush. I'm just carefully outlining this so it doesn't touch. That is just one of the things that I do to, 1, I just like the way it looks, and 2, it leaves plenty of space to finish the painting and not have to wait for things to dry. So again, I need to outline the mountains that will be below because I'm going to do 3 layers, and I'll just fill it in. like so. And then I'll do one more layer that will be the darkest, the closest layer. It's funny, I do some things that are sort of like true to like in reality. So I live in the Blue Ridge Mountains. In reality, when you look at the mountains, the closer ones are darker, regardless of what color they are, and the ones that are farther away are lighter. They just are lighter the farther back they are. Partially, I guess, because of that blue haze that makes the Blue Ridge Mountains. But like, I'm not that big on realism, obviously. Once in a while, I try. So I keep some things sort of true to reality and most things not at all. I'm trying to mix up a slightly darker purple. I didn't want to use just my dioxazine purple, so I added some dark blues and then added red to it to bring back the purple, and then put a little green in it to continue with the saginess. So I'll outline here, and see I touched there, it doesn't matter. I do try to keep my white lines, but if they don't work out, it's fine. I do recommend, if you really care about the white lines, like later, if you have a gel pen, you could just go back in and draw with a gel pen. I like the, is it Uniball? Uniball. I struggle with that every time. Now I just, on the bottom here, I want to have rolling hills. So again, I'm gonna draw that shape out for my rolling hills and then fill it in. Now I'm gonna mix a nice green. I tend to like kind of a yellow green. So I'm mixing over here. I have a spring green and a mint green that I'm mixing together. And then I'm gonna go and add some car yellow to it, which I'm getting green all in my car yellow, which I don't like doing. I am going to have to get fresh water in a moment. Let's see if we can make it through or not. I'm spraying my yellow, which I don't like it when it has green in it. Goodness gracious, I'm just gonna go get new water. I'll be right back. Someday I will have a studio with a sink in it. Someday. Not that the sink is far. The studio is off the kitchen, and obviously the kitchen has a sink, but all right, I have mixed that to a color I am happy with. So I will draw my hills here. And on the bottom of the painting, you could do flat and just have like a flat, you know, like foreground coming towards you. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna draw the opposite like that and put one more set of brighter green hills. Did I just go like that? Yeah. Again, that stuff really, once you add the white line to it later, honestly, I think it gives it character. All right, I added some spring green. That's not different enough, in my opinion. Let me add a little more spring green to it. And maybe some lemon yellow too. My lemon yellow is so dry. I don't know what brand paint it is. I think it might be Cotman, and I think it's just old. These days, I am mostly buying Daniel Smith watercolors, and I like them. Okay, we're almost done here. And now I'm going to move on to the rainbow. Do I have a size 6 brush that has a better point? No, okay, I guess we're gonna go with this. So I'm gonna start at the top with a red, I have a Scarlet Lake color. It's a little bit too much. I think I'm going to add a little bit of permanent rose to it to knock it back a little bit. You will rarely see me use red in my paintings. I don't know why. I don't like red. I like red when it comes to flowers, I guess, but honestly, not really. Do we have anything red in the garden? I guess sometimes zinnias have some red, but not really. So part of the reason I started here and went down is hoping this would be kind of dry by the time I wanted to come over and add my red here. I really don't want to get into the wet paint. So let's see if I can do this. I'm sort of moving all over the place trying to get this. So I don't want to paint over the pencil because then I won't be able to erase it. So I am just really carefully, oh goodness, see, look, I just got my finger in the green, not my finger, the side of my hand. I'm gonna balance it, on the bottom here. Yeah, I won't be able to erase that. And since we have white spaces, it doesn't, we can just paint around it and then erase it when it's all dry. I'm trying to have a confident brush here and just go with the shape, but it's a little tricky for me. I'm trying to keep it roughly the same thickness. So you can see why I draw the pencil mark there, because it helps me keep the angle. In any of those rough areas that I'm not happy with, I will go back. The white gel pen really is quite good at covering watercolor when it's dry. I cannot talk and paint. Isn't it funny that I'm trying to record painting videos? Okay, there's our red. Now I'm just gonna add some medium yellow to this red color that I have made and create my own orange. I do have orange in my palette, but oh my gosh, I almost never use it. You should see it, or you probably did see it. It's dried out and very disgusting. Orange is another color I don't use a lot of. I use a ton of yellow, a ton of pink, and then lots of purple, blue, green. But red and orange, not my favorites. I do like the orange in the zinnias in the summer. And we are gonna look for an orange, I think it's an orange milkweed. I'm trying to be good about buying plants that are not, what's the word I'm looking for? Ideally, buy native plants, but at the very least, not buy plants that are, what's the word? Like the ones that are really bad for an area. Perhaps you're yelling at your screen right now because you know the answer, even though I can't think of it. I want to keep the word I keep thinking of is like like what is the word? I don't know. It's bad. Plants that are bad for an area. Because they're not native and because they kind of like just destroy the natural habitat. Like we were gonna get a burning bush and then I looked it up. I was like, nope, those aren't good. At least in this area of Western North Carolina. I think I'll just use some medium yellow. For the yellow, I don't need to mix up anything special. And like we have, they came with the house. We have a whole row, like 11 of them, I think, along the driveway of Bradford pear trees. and invasive, sorry for yelling. I knew it started with an I. Invasive species. So Bradford pears apparently are like terrible, but they came with the house and we didn't know they were terrible until years later. Also, to get rid of them would be very difficult and costly, so there they are. All right, I'm gonna use that same green that I was already using down below for my next layer. And then we're getting close. I was thinking I wanted to experiment with, you know, when you see a real rainbow, they are faint, of course, but they also sort of blend into each other. And watercolors blend well together when they're wet, but I wouldn't want them to blend too much. So I was thinking about experimenting with that sometime. So perhaps that will be another video. And I'm probably just gonna use straight up sky blue, something that I already have on my palette. Although, yeah, whatever, we're doing it. Okay, and then I think I'm just gonna use my lavender for the last little purple down here. If you want to use a smaller brush or a newer brush with a better point, I do love round brushes. They're the most versatile. I use them the most. Like, I bought all these other brushes last year and like I hardly ever use them. Okay, right, there's our rainbow. And now, in the background, I would like to just do sky. But what kind of sky do I want to do? I know there would not probably be a blue sky if I was looking at a real rainbow, but we're living in another world here. We can do what we want. I'm gonna dump out my water and get more. I think in real life, you'd be seeing maybe a little blue sky and then a lot of gray sky. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do, yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of gray. I have a gray in my palette that I'm gonna mix up. If you don't have a gray, any dark color that you have lightened up a lot by adding a lot of water, that will create a gray. If you have a black in your palette and you add just like a lot of water and put it on really, really lightly, that could work. I mixed a Payne's gray with just this other gray that I had that came with a set, and I'm actually gonna switch to my size 12 brush. So I'm switching it up a little here because instead of doing the same kind of separated, very separated clouds, I'm gonna do more of a all at once sky. So I'm holding my brush sideways. I'm gonna dot in a little blue here and there. I'm gonna use several different shades of gray and go back and tap several times. This is just kind of a straight up gray, doesn't have as much blue in it. Little Payne's gray, that's too dark. I'm gonna add some water to my brush. And I do want to be careful here, not, actually, if I cover the pencil line, you probably won't even see it there. Yes, I see the red there. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Adding a little more blue here, just for fun. I'm gonna use a tiny piece of paper towel right there. I'm not too concerned about it, but I'll clean it up a bit. love watercolors so much, and it doesn't bother me that this happens sometimes. There we go. And I was thinking about tapping back a bit of the color anyway. This is one way to kind of get the impression of clouds, is to remove some color. And I'm gonna rinse off my brush and go back to the gray mixture. And take it right down. Maybe I want that to be a little bluer. Take it down close to the mountains. Hopefully what I'm putting my hand on is dry. I'm not speaking because I'm concentrating. A little more gray, blue kind of color, just adding a little more interest. And maybe tapping around a little here and there, just making it look, you know, multi-layered, even in here. There we go. And gosh, do I want to do anything else to the foreground? Nah, I think I'll leave it. So when this is completely dry, like for real, completely dry, I will I cleaned the studio this weekend, and as usual, things are not where I left them last. I will take this white pen, and I will draw through here to clean up those white lines, all through here, between this, take the tape off, I'll do all that. So whatever you saw on like the YouTube or wherever it was, like the picture, that's how it looked when it was totally done. And we're almost there. We just have to do a couple more things, but I hope that you enjoyed this, and I would love to see what you made. You can tag me at Jen Pacici or hashtag Paint with Jen. That's Jen with one N. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please share this and subscribe.